Look at the people out there with nowhere to go. It's not just about a roof or four walls, it's about dignity, safety, and a chance to restart when life has shoved them down hard. And yet, too many solutions we see today, they're just band-aids. Temporary fixes that don't get to the root of why homelessness even exists. You know the kind: emergency shelters, overcrowded, understaffed, no stability. That cycle keeps spinning, over and over. It drives anyone sane mad, especially those of you trying to build real change in this broken system. Now it's time to call out the hard truth. Alternative housing solutions are tempting, but if they don't come with a new mindset and new structures, they won't end homelessness for good. Just putting people in cheaper or unconventional shelters isn't enough. It's a trap, a well-meaning trap that keeps people stuck in the same loop. Here's what nobody wants to say but needs to be clear. Without true autonomy and connection, any solution stays temporary. So what sets apart the alternatives that actually work? It's brutal but simple. Thinking beyond buildings. Real impact comes when housing is part of a bigger ecosystem where people regain control over their lives, their jobs, their networks, their health. Without that, a house is just a cage with a bed. You need to push for projects that don't just hand over keys, but create communities, enable real self-reliance, and open paths to freedom, not dependency. If you're serious about this, here's what you do. First, stop throwing money at scaled models that treat homeless people like problems to be processed. Find or build enterprises that integrate housing with mentorship, access to jobs, mental health support, and financial tools. Don't settle for silos because they fail as soon as funding dips. Build tightly connected partnerships between social businesses, local governments willing to bend rules, and investors who see value beyond quarterly returns. That's a tough crowd to gather, but that's exactly who you are. Secondly, look for or create solutions with flexible housing, tiny homes, shared spaces, co-living, where ownership or long-term lease options let residents build equity and security, not just rent status. Challenge the way capital flows. Demand models that allow investments tied to social outcomes, where profits don't come from keeping people vulnerable, but from empowering them enough to move on. And here's the kicker. These solutions must be designed and led by people who've lived homelessness. Ignoring their perspectives is deadly. If those voices are left out, you're building systems that replicate the same failures. Accessibility and inclusion aren't just buzzwords here, they're survival. Without lived experience guiding design and decisions, you're guessing in the dark. Above all, don't fall for the safe, bureaucratic, same-old approaches. The world doesn't owe you easy answers. If you're watching this thinking, what can I really do? Stop doubting and start connecting. Find those few who see beyond what works today and build networks that can push the impossible. Because only a fierce, focused collective willing to challenge limits can deliver the kind of alternative housing that doesn't just move people off streets for a night, but ends homelessness for good. Forget quick fixes. Demand solutions that crack this wide open, that restore freedom and choice, that rebuild lives on foundations far stronger than any temporary shelter. This is about creating lasting change by tearing down the old ways of thinking and financing poverty. It's hard, it's uncomfortable, and it won't stop unless you refuse to let it, so push hard. Invest smarter. Build networks that think beyond buildings. And always keep this clear in mind. Housing alone won't end homelessness, but housing as part of a system that restores autonomy, connection, and opportunity just might. That's where the real fight is. And it's waiting for those who refuse to settle for pretend solutions. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and check the featured link to learn more.